All right then, feral ones. This is the Shady Book Club, and today we are here with another delightful indie author known as Katie Knight. I need a soundtrack so it claps when I. Katie, we have been okay. So first of all, I couldn't read your first book or the first book that you found because I have a little boy. His name is Grayson, so
yeah,
I avoided that one.
I got a kid too, and when the main character is the same name, it's
a bit tricky.
Yeah.
So I avoided that one. I swerved past it. But we hopefully have sent you some questions earlier on, so we're going to dive right into the questions. Feel free to elaborate. Feel free to throw in things that you may want to just tell us off the cuff. We'll roll with your punches, okay?
Sounds good.
Excellent. First question, Shah?
Okay, so what was the first book that you published and when?
The first book I ever published was The Edwards. That book is and will always be my baby. I published that one in January of last year. That one surprisingly only took me a month to write. Yeah, the words it was the first one I ever sat down to do, and the words just came out.
Oh, I love that when things just almost like word vomit on a page, just get it out.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. One day I sat down and I ended up writing 15,000 words, and it just happened.
I love that. What do you do? Like, not that you don't obviously have to give us personal information, but what's your like job role outside of writing? What do you kind of do?
I work for the county with the schools.
Oh, okay.
And when I first started writing, I was a stay-at-home mom.
Love that. That's more than a job. More.
Yeah.
That is the hardest job of them all. Okay. What influences your books and your genres? Like, how do you get there?
Honestly, I don't know. When I wrote The Edwards, I went out to dinner with some of my mom friends, and we were just talking. And at that point, my husband and I had kind of gone through a little rough patch. And I was venting to them and told them what was happening and everything. And they're like, oh, we feel that too. But for the longest time, I just felt like I was in it alone.
Yeah.
So I wanted to write something that really showcased that everybody can feel the emotions in the Edwards and the insecurities that come with being a mom. And when you put your kids first, your work first for your kids, that you end up having like a rift in your marriage because you're no longer putting your spouse as high up as you normally would. And so that's what drove it. And I came home and I just gotten a string of pearls from my husband for our 5-year anniversary. And I was like, I want like a spicy scene at the end. And I knew where I wanted it to end, and I just did it. And with the Carters, that one, I went into it knowing that I wanted it to be about the troubles conceiving and having the infertility issues. I knew that that's what I wanted, but as I write, that's when the tropes come. Right. So I knew I wanted contemporary romance with those ones, but I didn't know what tropes were going to play into it until I started writing.
Mm-hmm. I've got to be honest, the first 2 chapters of the Carters had me like, I don't think I can go on. I'm so sad for everybody.
That one was really hard because I don't suffer from infertility. Okay. One of my best friends does.
Right.
And she was just really going through it. And I know that it's such a hard topic for so many people that I wanted to shed some light to it and like have the real emotions that come with it. So I sat down with my friend and asked if she was comfortable with talking to me about it. and she was. And I asked her all kinds of questions, and I sent her chapters to read to make sure that I was portraying the emotions and the dynamics properly so that it wouldn't come off as somebody who's writing it who doesn't know anything.
Yeah.
And I've had several of my readers say that it was healing for them, and it was a book that they didn't know that they needed. And that one was probably the hardest one to write.
I feel that. Oh wait, it's not my question.
What are your favourite tropes?
I love the enemies to lovers, forced proximity. Um, I wrote them all down because there's so many, and it was just like the ones that were popping into my head. Like arranged marriage, age gap. I just really like a lot of things. I will say this is going to surprise a lot of my readers. I am not the biggest fan of like stalker and dark romance as a reader myself, but as an author, I'm finding I really love writing that.
Love that.
Wow.
Okay. What are your ideal writing conditions? What gets you in the zone?
I like to be comfortable, so I either sit at my desk or on the couch with a drink, like sparkling water, something, because then I don't have to get up and stop. A cozy blanket, comfy clothes, and music. And as little distractions as possible is fantastic, but I have a 7-year-old, so it's not always.
Yeah. Hard.
Not always feasible, is it?
What research did you do for this book?
For the Edwards, I didn't really do a lot of research. I already knew a lot of it, and the test that Anna and Grayson take and that Erica and Brian take, because they do it in both, is an actual test that I knew about. My girlfriends and I did it. We had our husbands take it, and then of course at dinner we sat down and we compared results. So that was fun, and then I used that uh, as part of the book. As for the toys that are used, I just kind of already know know about them. But like I said, for Erica and Brian, for the infertility awareness, I sat down with a friend and I just asked her the hard questions, and she was willing to answer them for me because this book was for her.
I love that. What have you learned about yourself? Now, you said the first book was kind of mirroring some stuff that was going on in your own life. So, whilst writing, what did you learn about yourself? What did you discover? What did you uncover?
Well, with that one, it really helped me just like accept things. It honestly took me writing that book and having the conversations with my husband through our struggles to feel more confident and comfortable in my body and just accept that me wanting to lose weight to look better for him and have the body that I had before I was a mom, like all those things were things that I was projecting on myself and not anything that he has ever said or actually made me feel.
Yeah.
So it just really made me take a step back and really listen to what he was saying in ways that he wasn't saying. Like when I'm doing the dishes and he just comes up behind me and wraps his arms around me, or we're just driving down the road, or him telling me that I look nice or whatever. And that's like the little things that he does is him telling me how he feels about me.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, it was overshadowed by just my own self insecurity issues that I had.
Yeah.
And so I've gotten past that. But I also learned I'm a procrastinator, like really bad. If I set a deadline for myself, which as an indie author you have to do. Once I set the deadline, and I know, like I have a deadline for the 20th for my newest book. to finish it so I can get it to my editor. And I set that deadline a month and a half ago, and I'm like, oh, write 1,000 words in a day and have it done in 20 days. It's fine. And then as I'm writing, I'm like, oh, it's no longer going to be this many words. It's now 20,000 longer than I thought it was going to be. And now I'm rushing now.
You're rushing. Sounds like me with all my stuff for uni. I only lasted a year and a half at uni.
So what parts in your book do you find most difficult to articulate?
The Carters, the whole thing with the Carters was the hardest thing for me. I found when I started writing the Edwards that I did a lot more telling than I was doing showing. And so after I had more experience, I went back. I actually unpublished both books. And they went through a brand new set of edits. I had an editor for the Carters, and I just trusted that she was doing her job, and she did not. And so I published basically an unedited manuscript of the Carters. And I didn't know for months. And so I finally found out, and I had my editor that I worked with for my Christmas novella come in, and she went through it, and I got new covers done. I went through basically a rebrand of the Second Vow series, and she proofread and edited, and then I did the same thing with the Edwards, and I was able to put more detail into it and more emotions behind it, and not just like telling the story. I was able to show the story, and so that was my biggest struggle.
Amazing. Now, that's always good to have the right eyes on your work, I can imagine, and hearing. Do you have like a team of like ARC readers or beta readers or people that you bounce off of before you even send it to your editor? Or
so my editor is one of my best friends, and so she's actually like, I brainstorm with her a lot. And so she's like there through everything. But I have a street team. I have an alpha team that is reading my current dark romance that's coming out in August. They're reading it as I type it, like as I write it. And then I have an ARC team, and I'm establishing a beta team for this book as well.
Nice.
So I have multiple stages that go before her, but she's also just wants it as I do it.
Yeah. It's nice that she's a good friend of yours. That's great, because she also, like, she knows you, your writing style and all that. That's pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
I was going to, one of our questions is, are any of your characters based on people you know? But we know the answer to that.
I mean, I don't necessarily think that the characters themselves are. I think the situations are.
Yeah. That's actually bang on the nose. Yeah, the situation. You can really tell when you're reading it how personal
You can.
like you feel for these situations. Like, I think because it's not your situation, you're trying to do justice to your friend's situation. You pour so much heart and pain into her story that, like I say, from the first 2 chapters, I was literally just like, okay, this is going to hurt a lot. Like, I could feel it in my gut. I've never had any of those issues. And I was just like, is this happening to me? Like, it felt so real and so personal. So you've more than done justice for her, and obviously all other women that have been through that situation.
That was my goal. Thank you.
We can skip past my question.
So, which of your side characters do you think could have their own book or spin-off?
So, I have had a lot of requests from people for the therapist, Dr. Blake Parker, to have her own book. People want to know why she knows what she knows, how she learned it, because she's being so unorthodox with her recommendations and just like knowing what the couples need. They want to know what got her there. I don't have any plans for that as of now, But I can say that for those who have read my Christmas novella, I do have a sequel coming, hopefully this year, um, for the two side characters in that one.
How do you deal with a writer's block, or however you describe it?
So my two of my best friends that are authors as well, we have this thing where if we're struggling, we like kind of bounce ideas off each other, and then we tell each other to just write 200 words. Because if you get 200 words, sometimes that like gets you past it, and it's just like it's just 200 words. It'll take 10, maybe 15 minutes of my time. If it gets the juices flowing, it does. If not, I have 200 words more than I did prior to, and then it's a win. So I do that a lot, and once I get started, it helps. And then if that doesn't work, I'll go back and read like the last chapter leading up to where I'm at, and that helps because then it's like I'm in this almost in the same mindset, and I remember kind of where I was going with it, and then I can continue.
Yeah. Almost like just taking a step back and pushing through. Yeah, that's
That is one of the most positive answers I think we've ever had to that question. To be fair. If you could cast the movie of your book, who would be the MMC and the FMC?
I had a lot of fun with this question. I really did. I have like a Pinterest board for my street team that I add pictures to for posting, and they can go in and do whatever that they want with it. They can add to it if they think it matches the theme of the book or whatever. And so I was looking, but I knew that for the Edwards, Grayson would be Stephen Amell, Oliver Queen from Arrow. That is who he is. And then Ashley Graham as Anna. She's a, I don't want to say plus size model because
stunning, that woman.
She's yeah, just stunning. But that is the combo for the Edwards, and then for the Carters, India Baston as Erica, and then Michael Yerger as Brian.
So India Basson.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming up with some random place. Actress. I like to see who.
Yeah, she is for a long time. I don't know if she still does it, but for a long time she did like curly hair routines and stuff. I watched her a lot for a while on YouTube. But I had a pinned post of a guy that I was like, that's Brian. And I thought that really was. He's an actual person, obviously. But yeah, it was that's them.
I literally saw, sorry to detour, but kind of on the same subject. You know the guy who's on the front cover of, is it Madness? Hayden Jameson Reeves from Chantal Tessier's.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a guy on the front cover of that, and he is delicious. And she had him, I think he's Australian, she had him at like a book signing. I just thought I'd share because he's delightful.
I found out that the guy that I would cast as Brian, he's from Tennessee, and that was my thought too, was could I get him at one?
I mean, excuse me, you seem to be exactly the same man that I've written in my book. Come and pay for me. Why not? If you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah. I think he lives in California now, though, so.
Oh.
I mean, I didn't stalk him. I just saw that he was a model, and I was like, I don't think he models in Tennessee.
Is there not much to model in Tennessee?
I mean, I don't know. I've never really looked into it, so.
No, I get that. Okay. Okay. How do you keep on top of who, what, when, where, and why?
I don't think I do a very good job at that. I forget a lot with what I'm writing, and one of my best friends can tell you that, and she's also my narrator. She can, or my editor.
Yeah.
She can tell you. When I wrote 12 Nights of Christmas, my dark romance, when I sent it to her and I started proofreading it as she was editing, I kept praising her on how amazing the book was turning out, and I loved the added detail that she was putting in and all that. And she's like, I didn't change much. I just fixed grammar and some stuff. And she's like, that's all you, babe. And I was like, I don't remember writing this. I was also sick on steroids at that point, so that's part of it. But I don't remember what I'm writing because I'm at a different point in the book, and it takes me a little bit to learn my character sometimes too. So I don't know. And they just walk off with the story, honestly. Like, things just happen. Like, I just wrote a primal chase scene, and I don't know how it happened. Like, I had zero plans of that happening. It just happened.
I adore the idea of a primal chase scene. Sounds like my kind of night.
Yeah, it was very fun.
I'd like to read that, but you like to write it.
Done it before.
Sorry, I was interrupting.
I've never written a primal chase scene before, and so when it happened, I was like, all right, well, I'll give it a shot, and it was so fun. And I sent it to one of my friends, and they're like, this is really good. And I'm like, okay, good, because I don't know. I don't know. But I do keep track of my stuff with a beat sheet. My friend sent it to me from another author, and I cannot remember who it was from originally. But it breaks down like 12 beats that you hit in a novel, and then it like compares it to ACOTAR. So like if you've read ACOTAR, you can see the pacing of it, and that's been helping me because I filled it out with my own story, and that's kind of been helping with where I need to be at what point in the story.
So if you could collaborate with any author, who would it be?
I have never thought about that before. That one, I honestly don't know. My first thought was like SDM or Rebecca Yarros, but I was like, that. I mean, it would be fun, but I don't know. I really don't know. But I do have a couple collaborations happening in the future with some other.
Nice. That's awesome. I love that. All right. Which of your books would you turn into like a TV series or a movie?
Honestly, I think the Edwards. Eventually want all of them in audiobooks, but I think either the Edwards or the Carters would be what I would want as like a TV series or a movie or something, just because I think that would help so many women who struggle with just everyday real life relationships, that it would make them feel seen. And I think that was my goal with those two books. With the second House series was just for people who are struggling with everyday things to really feel seen.
I get that. That's cool.
So what is your biggest book pick / current?
I don't know. I thought about this one too, and I'm like, I know I have them because I'll be reading something and I just like roll my eyes. I'm like, this is why this. I think the biggest one is when it's insta love, but like I'm okay if it's like fated mates and there's just like that instant connection, but when it's like I saw him on the street and I'm in love with him and it's not a fantasy, that's really hard for me. I like to be along the journey of them falling for each other.
Yeah.
Like, he's mine now. But I also have obsessed stalkers, so I don't know.
Either or, isn't it? I love it. um, I this one's gonna be well, actually no, because you said so. Some of the spicy scenes that you put in your book. This one may trip you up a little bit because I don't know if it's in the set of questions that Shah sent you, but
But I'm ready
are
for
any of
it.
them based on personal experience, or do you just kind of wing it?
Um,
You
I
can please.
don't want to say that I mean, there are some things in like the Edwards or even 12 Nights that my husband has once said to me or have inspired more.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's some of my friends refuse to read the Edwards because they're like, that's you and your husband. I'm like, it's really not. But some of the things that Grayson does and says have stemmed from things that my husband has said and done.
Fair.
And it's not like I just like took notes of the whole thing. It's more of
Writing it
he
up.
does something or says something, and I'm like, "Ooh, that'd be good in the book," and then I tweak it and change it and make it better.
There you go. Make it less realistic. Okay, have you ever written a character in any of your books that you've absolutely hated? Are they the villain? Just like you just not liked them?
Yes, I am actually killing that character off today, and I'm having so much fun with it. Um, yeah, I knew that this was gonna happen, and so one of the incentives of being on my street team is like I have a point system, and so whoever has the most points at the end of the month either gets a blind date with a book, or they get to choose something that happens in one of my whips. And one of my street team members chose to have an ex-boyfriend killed off. And so she named him, and I am working on the scene, and she's going to be the first person to see it for approval to go into the book.
I adore that.
I adore that. Wow.
It feels like some kind of it's like a win, isn't it? Like, ha, got to kill you. Thanks.
Yep, somebody asked me today because I have a channel on Instagram, and they asked me who hurt me because I said like what I was doing to this character, like cutting things off, gouging things out, and skinning things, and I was like, yeah, I'm fine. It's not for me. It's for somebody else.
These are not my thoughts. I'm just a
I
fan.
mean, they are, but like she wanted him dead, and I was like, well, let's have fun with it then.
How do we do it? Imagine that conversation. If you ever get flagged, just be like, it's for a book. It's for a book. That's going to be my excuse also. I'm not writing
My
a book.
editor slash best friend is a nurse, and so we often have conversations about how to realistically do things. And I have specifically said, how would I off somebody without like doing it too quickly? How do I prolong it
Slowly take them out.
to make sure he feels pain the longest? Like, I just need a couple minutes. Like, what do I avoid? And she's like, all right, here's what you do. And then she tells me what to do.
Brilliant. Honestly, I think between all of the authors and book girlies, there could be some very skilled serial unalivers now, just from all of the tips and hints that you get, because they're also realistic. Everyone's got a nurse friend or a paramedic friend or somebody that they've tapped into.
Yeah.
And it's like, maybe, yeah.
She's getting ready to go to med school for, she's a registered nurse and she wants to become a surgeon. So she knows all the things. She's studying for a residency test in December. So she knows all the things.
I love that. Someone's just said, as a reader with medical knowledge, I love when the is realistic. It's good.
I try my best and I tweak my scenes as needed for my nurse friend.
Yeah, it's good.
So I think as well, I had a little stalk earlier, and you'd put a story up on Insta about a new book that you've got coming out. But I think it's completely different from your usual books that you've currently got out.
Yeah, it's different. It is about Sasha and Theo. They are both stalkers and both unalivers. Um, he stalks him first,
Yes.
so that was a different twist that I found. Um, but it's it's got plot twists that just happened. It's got a lot of spicy stuff and a lot of obsession on both parts. She's just as unhinged as he is. And they're both just completely obsessed and possessive over each other. And it has been so much fun. It's Halloween vibes. It's gonna be fun.
Love that. Will you release that around Halloween? Is that going to be kind of like your idea?
I am hoping to have it released in time for the Black Hearts Ball that I'm attending, and book signing the first weekend of August.
Oh, nice.
So almost to betas, almost ready for edits, almost ready for arcs, and then it'll be published hopefully that first weekend.
Awesome. So, did you say it's a ball? So you have to be all fancy dress and whatnot.
Yep.
Do you have your outfit?
No, I don't. I I have a handful of authors that I'm friends with that are going as well. So we have a group chat and we've been sending dress inspiration and ideas and stuff. But my idea was to be in the same dress or similar to the one that my character wears to her masquerade ball in the book.
That would be so freaking cool.
But I don't think it's going to work out that way, but we'll see. Yes, we talked about going, and I'm really excited. And my husband is going with me.
Oh,
Amazing.
honestly, shout it out on social media and see if anyone can make you the dress. You'd be surprised who comes back at you.
Well, I was trying to do like Shein or because I found it on Shein, and I found it, and so I just found a dress. I typed in exactly what I was looking for on Shein, and I was like, oh, "That's the dress. That's what she's gonna wear." And I was like, "Oh, it'd be kind of fun if I had the same one." So I'm gonna try to get it.
Do it. Do it. Post it. Tag us. I want to see.
We definitely will.
That'd be fun. That'd be fun. I would love. I want to go to a. I don't want to go to a ball. I'm not ready physically yet. I need to keep going with my PT, and then I might go to a ball in a fancy dress.
I've been to one other one, but that one was the first event that this event had put on. But then they just did Tempted by Fiction. They did that in May, and they just announced that they're doing a Halloween signing as well in October, and I'm attending that one as well.
Nice.
Amazing.
Oh, I love that.
Do you have any more? Do you have any more signings that you're doing this year or next?
I don't have any more this year. I did Tempted by Fiction spring in last month. I'm doing Black Hearts that first weekend in August, and then I'm doing the Tempted by Fiction Spooky Edition. I can't remember exactly what they said the name is, but that one is going to be in October, and then I am going to be doing the spring one again. I was asked to return, so I'm going to do that one. I'm trying to keep it more local. I was signed up to do one in Virginia, but I decided that I didn't really want to travel that far because even when you buy your books at wholesale, it's not that cheap. I found.
So you literally have to come with your stock and then basically resell it on.
Mhm.
Wow. That sounds...
Yeah. I didn't think, being a first time author, attending an event, I did not think that I would do as well as I did. So I brought 10 copies of each of my books.
Mm.
And that was like $150 plus. I had a banner made, I had a table runner made, I had stickers designed and made. I made bookmarks, bracelets. I did all the stuff. It was almost $300 between the books and the merch that I had to give.
Yeah.
And but I did end up selling out in the first hour and a half of a 4-hour event, which I was not expecting.
Yeah.
So I decided to double each of my books. So all the profits that I had made from that event now is going to books alone for the event in August.
Excellent. Do you sell from your own website or?
Not yet. I did make a Ko-Fi for signed editions, but the only thing is it's so hard when, like, if I don't have stock, it takes so long for Amazon to get the books to you. Like,
Right.
I ordered books I ordered them the middle of May, and I just got them over the weekend.
Oh wow.
And so they take like 3 weeks. And
Yeah.
so it's hard for me to justify selling them on a website when I don't have that, because I would hate for somebody to want to buy the book and then place an order, and then I have to buy the book because I'm out.
Yeah.
But
Interesting.
eventually I want to.
Yeah. No, that makes total sense. So you're gonna be releasing this double Stalky Stalk book August time. Do you have anything else in the pipelines coming for the rest of the year, release wise?
Yes. Yeah. I'm part of an anthology. And that one is, I think I'm so focused on this one and getting this one that I can't remember what this one is, but I'm pretty sure it's a monsters one or something like that. I am writing sorry, my mother-in-law is calling me. um, so I am writing a retelling of like Lilith's daughter, and I'm touching on the like Lilith and everything that, like, how she became Lilith. And it's her first child and her first daughter, and so she's going to find her mate, and it's only the max is I think 18,000, and that one's coming out in September. So I gotta finish that one. And then I have a goal. I haven't even started yet, so we'll see what happens. I want to release the second book to 12 Nights of Christmas for Christmas this year, but I'm not confident in that one right now. I have zero planning done on it, and I don't have a clue with that one right now.
It's a beautiful thought. Will it come to fruition? But I think if it's in your head and you're kind of thinking about it, maybe one day you'll just have one of those, oh look, there's 15,000 words again. Like, ta-da!
Honestly, that's my goal with this one. With the book that I'm writing now, I think today I've gotten almost 2,000 words typed today. And I want to get it done. Like, I am at that point where things are starting to pick up, and I don't want to stop because I'm in the mindset of where I want it to go now. And if I stop, my mindset tomorrow will be different, and then that's when it shifts, and I just want it to finish where I'm at today.
Yeah.
Who knows?
For sure. I love that. I love it. And what are your what's your like biggest, oh yeah, I've made it, I've done it. What would you say that like that point is for you?
Hands down, seeing my books in the store on a shelf at Barnes and Noble. That is my biggest goal.
Big shop, Barnes and Noble. I love that. Yeah,
That's been my goal since I started.
Everything crossed for you for
exactly. We've got your back. We'll be cheering you on from the sidelines, from the UK and from the sidelines. It is. I would say if I was a more, I wouldn't even say your book. The book that I read was fluffy because it was it had such grit to it because of the realism behind it. But if you are definitely into those like heartbreak, slightly more, I mean, I'm a dark romance reader, so when I say fluffy, I mean there's no like primal blood play and stuff like that. That's what I mean. Um, that's definitely right up. Is the Carters and the Edwards? They are so. Is wholesome the word I'm looking for? Don't know what word I'm looking for, but just so much like with the reality aspect to your books.
They were real, weren't they? I think that's what it is. Hard hitting as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially, I think the Edwards was probably the first book I've read that was to do about somebody that was already married and working through it, which was insane but good at the same time. It's broadened my horizons.
For sure.
It's like something that when they ask me, like, because I've been trying to, like, for a little bit, I was trying to possibly be traditionally published just because that's the best way to get it more renewable. And they're like, well, what sets your book apart? And I was like, well, honestly, my couple is already married in these two books. They're already married. They're going through it. They're struggling. And there's no third act breakup. It's completely just them coming back together and working through a struggle in their marriage.
Yeah. They're so realistic, these books, that it does make you go, did this happen to me? Is that why I'm feeling it so much? You're like, I don't remember. But yeah, it does make you really think that you are in the book. I really enjoyed that part. I am out of questions, and I think I'm out of surprise questions as well. I tend to just have them floating in my brain. Where else can we find you? Obviously, you're here on TikTok. Please go and follow Katie. But you said something about a group on Instagram as well. How do we?
On Instagram, I have a channel. It's linked in my profile on Instagram, which is linked on my profile here as well. And I have the same username on platforms, the at Katie Knight _ author.
Fabulous. So everybody go follow the breadcrumbs. Just go to the bio and you'll be able to find her, stalk her, keep up to date with all of the amazingness that is Katie Knight. I am so happy to have had you. Thank you for coming and shedding a few little secrets there and having some insight into who you are as an indie author. I love it. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you, and we look forward to the next book.
Me too.
I'm gonna add your Christmas book to my Christmas month. I do all Christmas stuff in December. I'm a bit of a geek like that. Well, I did last year. Who knows what we're gonna do with this book club come Christmas, and who's gonna be on? But yeah, I'll add it.
I will say that with 12 nights, he gifts her something for 12 nights. And so that might be something to read closer to actual Christmas, because then he reveals himself on Christmas Eve.
That sounds fabulous.
That sounds like everything this single girlie needs for Christmas.
It's dark romance early too, so it's fun.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.